Hey everyone, welcome back to Shapeshifter's Den, a place where we explore all things related to self-transformation and conscious movement. This video will be a movement journal entry, which takes a look at one of the most fundamental body positions of the human experience, the resting squat. Now, if I had to recommend just one exercise to improve health, it would almost assuredly be the resting squat, or more specifically, a full squat which stops in the resting squat position. I've experienced numerous benefits from this position, and you will still catch me mobilizing my hips and ankles in this position before every single workout. It's a natural human resting position and a natural stance of defecation, meaning the body is designed to be in this position numerous times every single day. And when utilizing this pattern daily, the person will tend to enjoy fully mobile hips, ankles, and low back. For someone who can't currently get into this position, the issue is likely to be a range of motion limitation in either the ankles, the hips, or both. And if you happen to be an active person at all, this becomes a great recipe for knee and low back issues. However, in my experience, this pattern is highly medicinal to the body. By training to get in this position and spending time in it each day, a number of chronic pains and postural issues often just disappear. To get into this position, you simply stand with feet roughly shoulder width apart and toes slightly pointed out. Then bend at the knees and hips while dropping down and keeping the feet flat against the ground. The spine and pelvis should ideally be in a neutral position. Common faults will often include being overly flexed or overly extended in the spine, knees drifting inward, or feet pointing too far to the outside. However, there can be a great variety in form depending on the individual's unique body structure. For instance, those with longer torsos and shorter legs will tend to keep their spine very vertical while squatting, while those with longer legs and shorter torsos will often need more forward lean in their spine in order to maintain balance, and this is completely natural to them. Also, the angle and depth of the acetabulum can change the stance width as well as the angle of the feet. Basically, the hip is a ball and socket joint, and the shape and position of that socket will determine the most functional position for you to be squatting in. Deeper sockets allow for less range of motion, while more shallow sockets provide more. When the acetabulum is angled more laterally, a wider stance is usually needed with the toes pointed further out. But when the acetabulum is more angled forward, you will often require a more narrow stance. And this is just a brief look at some of the ways in which each individual body structure is unique. However, there are still many more variables which can change the ideal squat form for each person. Trying to identify all of them within yourself would be quite complicated. So the best way to determine your ideal squat is to simply tune your awareness into your body and test different stances and see what feels most comfortable and most natural to you. If you're paying close enough attention, when you get in a position the body doesn't like, it will tell you. You just have to be listening. You can also lay on the ground and pull your knees up towards your chest in a squat-like position. From there, you can adjust the width and position of your legs and see where you find the most hip flexion before your pelvis starts to tuck under. This is often called the butt wink. This will give you a good idea of your individual ideal positioning when squatting. However, for many people, it will seem nearly impossible to get into this position at first. But with a little consistent practice, the position will usually quickly become easier. If you have any trouble, consider using a counterbalance to help you. This can be something like a door frame that you're holding onto, or a weight that you're holding onto in front of you, such as a kettlebell or really anything with enough weight to help counterbalance you. You can also raise your heels up onto a book or some other platform in order to experience this position before your ankles are technically mobile enough to do so. To hasten progress, consider stretching and foam rolling the calves and hips in order to maximize your mobility before you attempt this. If, however, you find this movement incredibly easy either now or at some point in the future after a certain degree of training, you can progress the movement and make it more difficult and more beneficial by raising your arms overhead, performing an overhead deep squat. Along with the mobility demands placed on the hips, ankles, and low back, this position will also challenge the upper thoracic spine and shoulder mobility, making this movement practically a full-scale assault on all the issues created from sitting too often in chairs. Okay, well that's it for today. If you enjoyed this episode of the Movement Journal, be sure to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, or your own experience with the resting squat, or if you just know of any other movements you'd like to see featured in a future episode, feel free to put it down below in the comment section. Have a great day, good luck with your movement practice, and until next time, keep moving everyone.